Uh, would you please state for the record what's your name?
My name is Asta Rajiv.
And you are have Indian heritage,
I
what
too.
I know.
I too. I'm Indian.
How tall are you?
5'9.5".
So you're very tall for Indian girl, and you can do like Alexander McQueen. You can do all kind of serious designers. Uh, Also, a few minutes ago, even seconds ago, I learned that you gonna become at the Miss India pageant, one of the contestants, and that's a wonderful topic to touch upon. Can you please share with our audience, like, what are the requirements, how it works, like, where to watch that stuff? I think that's pretty fascinating.
Of course, definitely.
A little bit hard, yes.
I have been preparing for Miss India since I was 18, so I was
Is that your
already
first time for
this.
competing?
No, I actually was in a pageant school. I was a part of Femina Miss Princess, so it was Campus Princess, Miss Campus Princess.
Okay.
And because I have been studying in the United States in the past 4 years, I decided to go back to my country for a
But
while.
in India, I noticed you have like lots of castes, right? Like different levels of folks, and it's also very common to have pigeons and like fathers bring their daughters, trying to get them arranged to marriage, and the boys coming to look for the wife. Like how that works with American community, like when people get more Americanized and they make their own decisions based on love rather than based on tradition.
Well, to be honest, the reason why arranged marriage persists in India is because people believe that when two families meet, two families make their children meet each
Mm-hmm.
other, and once they get to know the family's culture, the background, when the
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds match, it's very likely that the marriage will also last. So it's only a last resort in case somebody is not able to find a good partner through love
But
marriage or
the
through just
pigeon like that,
meeting.
are you entering this stuff just because you want to feel beautiful and you want to have the audience? Is that a narcissistic thing? Is that a, like something for like to meet someone, or this is like just for fun? Like I'm trying to understand the depth behind this. Like what's the like purpose of the pigeon like that?
I think for anybody who wants to make a mark for themselves as a personal brand, as somebody who has a certain aesthetic, certain talents, it's a very good platform to
Mm-hmm.
get that sense of purpose, to be able to bring out your talents to the world. And you get a lot of screen presence. That's people know you, people want
What
to
can
work
you
with
do
you.
with a power like that? Like, are you gonna save the starving people? Are you gonna help the poor? Like, what do you want to do? Like, let's say you win Miss India. I hope that you will.
I hope
Like,
so too.
what would you do if you just imagine for a second it's already happened?
I think for me, I'm a very spiritual person. I have traveled the world a lot, learned different philosophies, and been a student of different spiritual gurus. And for me, the most important thing is to empower people to understand what their uniqueness is, and to empower them to follow it. And the second thing is, I do love children. I love kids, and I
Do you
want to
have
be.
kids?
I don't. I'm single. I'm very
Okay.
young.
People have single, but they sometimes they have kids. Like, okay. So let me ask you a question. What's the path? Like, what steps do you take to win? Are you practicing your walk, or are you like practicing the questions? Like, how do you prepare for like a challenge like that?
I think the most important thing that they look for in a potential Miss India is the ability to represent the country at a global level and to represent what the country stands for. That is grace, humility, spirituality, and wisdom. And I feel like it's a complete package.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to develop yourself. You have to develop yourself over the years. It's not a one-time effort. When you go in front of the judges, you are presenting your energy, your aura, the way you are, and it completely emits through the way you stand, the way you speak, what you say. It's all about how developed as a person you are.
Let's touch a little more philosophical piece on loneliness, on vanity, on like narcissism. As a, you're very tall, you're very beautiful. So a lot of guys maybe want to meet you, but they are shy and they afraid to talk to you. When you are a model, when you are like all the way on top, like it's kind of lonely. To be like, what are the advantages of being lonely but a single person? For me, for example, I know if I'm by myself in my office, I can, let's say, fart and nobody, and I don't care, like, because I'm the boss. Like I can do what I want. But for some people, being lonely on top, like I'm talking about billionaires, I'm talking about like Kardashians, I'm talking about people who run the world. They are very lonely. It's and very narcissistic and very like kind of in love with himself.
I can relate to this because I grew up in Juhu in Mumbai, which was the hub of the film industry, and
So
I
you're a Bollywood
wouldn't
girl.
I wouldn't say I'm very, very privileged, but privileged enough to understand the cons of having a very good life. And one of that is loneliness. So I did grow up with that. And I grew up with a lot of expectations on me to achieve something in the world. So for me, it's not necessarily out of narcissism. It's sort of the fact
It's not
that
that. People think narcissism is just because he loved his mother, but I think like when you love yourself, like if you want to accomplish something, any like major person who are, whether it's Donald Trump or it's like a Mark like a Elon Musk, or any person who are really in love with themselves, they accomplish a lot for the world. They change the world. Look at the Bill Gates. Look at the Steve Jobs. These people are lonely. These people very narcissistic.
I do agree. I believe that too. I feel like for me, I'm doing it because I'm very inherently competitive.
Hmm.
I do believe that a person has unlimited potential and I just want to keep growing as a human being. So for me, any kind of a competition, any kind of a place where I have to face my fears and be judged and possibly be rejected is just a stepping stone for me to be a better version of myself. So I look at it as a challenge where I'm growing, as opposed to just achieving certain level of fame. Because I know that there are only a few things in my hand, and that's working on myself. The rest is all up to God.
I would love to keep talking to you, but I'll just ask you my one last question, and after that we'll go to the casting piece and walking and like a runway and all that good stuff. You just mentioned that you are a very competitive person. I also was in sports when I was younger and like very competitive and stay competitive. Like what it means to be being competitive. For me, for example, I have to make a lot of phone calls. I have to make accept a lot of phone calls. If I don't make a sale for a client like within 2 4 minutes, I just move to the next one. I time myself literally. Like I cannot give a person more than 4 minutes. If I cannot close that sale in 4 minutes, I have to move to the next lead. Like what it means for you.
I think for me, it is. I think for me,
Don't cover the mouse. Like in a page, and they would not gonna like it. Like this. Yes, that's a good.
for me, it's more about identifying what my uniqueness is. How can I differentiate myself from everybody else? And I identified that at a very young age because I spent a lot of time understanding myself with self study, understanding how legends became legends, what tactics did they use, what do they do on a daily basis. So, competition for me is not necessarily, oh, she's got 5,000 followers, I need to get 6,000. I believe it's more about how do I keep putting my work out there in a way that I differentiate myself from everybody else.
So what's? I promise that was the last question, but I'll ask one more. Like, what's your moral identity?
I think I am very elegant, very feminine, very poised, and I believe that's more about because of my upbringing, because I was taught to behave a certain way in public, and it's just being very subtle, very graceful. Uh, my grandmother was from a political family and she was taught to behave a certain way in public. So, a lot of finishing school. So, I think for me, it's just being very, very elegant in public. Just being compassionate, nurturing, showing that human side of myself in a very subtle way. And I think subtlety for me, just being very subtle, very, very human, just wanting to connect emotionally with other people. That's my thing. Expressing
Can you
myself.
do a plug-in? What's your social media? Folks can look you up.
Definitely. My social media is Instagram, and my handle is AASTA underscore R.